Hey guys, this is René, and what can I say? The Trump effect hits different lately. So today I want to talk a little bit about especially what happened yesterday and how the impact looks like in my trading account.
This video is presented by BM Trading. Learn to code your own expert advisors. Link in the description.
So you probably realized that if you're following this channel, you saw that yesterday there were like the 3 biggest losing trades ever in this account. It's actually, it's not really funny. There were like 3K, and 2.6, like 8 to 9K lost on one single trading day. That's a new record for the books. And it is, of course, leaving the account in a very bad spot. But is it really this bad? That's what I want to talk about in this video. And this is especially for those who probably also use the strategies or who just follow the account for a while, because lately I was just streaming. Like the last months I didn't really comment anything about or on this account, but now I feel like with the latest changes or the like just the situation on the financial market, it maybe needs a few words here and there to just let you know how I feel about this account and what my current analysis are that I make to get a good overview of what's going on and if we are still on the right track or if this is really a problem. And just a quick information in the beginning, next week there will be 10K more in this account because I made another deposit just to be sure that if another day like this happens, maybe Monday or Tuesday, I'm safe to like provide enough margin for such a scenario. And if the account drops more, I will deposit another 10K or 15 or 20K, whatever is necessary to keep the account alive. And so let's talk a little bit about what happened last Friday, actually yesterday when I record this video. So we can see that if we have a look at the major indices, for example, maybe the daily view is kind of nice here because it really shows that how crazy this last day was. I lost, I don't know if you made the same trades, but I lost, or the markets lost, like I think on average around 6% if we have a look at all of these indices, which is quite a lot. Yesterday I just googled the top losing days ever in history, and there were actually days where the market lost like 20%, which is crazy. I hope this doesn't happen next week. But 6% is actually also quite a big loss for one single trading day. I think it's maybe... it doesn't happen too often. And if we have a look here at US 30, the last one of these indices that I trade, it almost lost 6% also. So all of these markets lost a lot. And with these markets, of course, I also lost a lot because I'm always invested with a go long strategy, as you know. So pretty much the same loss that happened in the indices happened in my account. So if the market loses 6%, I also lose 6%. So this explains why, for example, here I lose 3K, because 3K is roughly 6% of 50,000 euro, and that's the account balance that I trade here, even if there are no 50,000 euros in this account. But I talked about this a lot before. I just don't want the money to sit there, and that's why I don't keep the 50K in this account. So this is not really a big surprise that I lost so much money. And actually, this is also not really a problem for me. So I'm not super scared at this point. It's more interesting, and I will tell you later in this video why I'm actually very optimistic for this account, because it's, even though the last day looked a little bit dramatic, it's actually not that bad. It's actually going quite well, and I will explain in this video. So there's a big loss. And what I did before also, I was zooming out of the chart, because here with these nice markers in the chart, we can see pretty nicely where I started trading this account, and it was on around the end of March 2024. And what is very interesting now, if we have a look at, I don't know where exactly the day is, let's say it's here. If we have a look at when I started trading this account, this is for US 30, for example, the indices are now below this level. And this for me is one of the most important comparisons or analysis that I make from time to time. I want to see like how did the index perform in the same period that I traded, because I know that there should be a very, very strong correlation of my strategies and the indices, because obviously, for example, the go long strategy, it just mirrors the performance, not exactly, but kinda. And so I did this comparison for all of the 3 major indices that I trade. And for Germany, it's a little bit interesting because the German index was very strong lately. So this one is still above the level where I started trading the go long strategy. So this one is still like 11% in profit, so to say, if we compare the point of where I started trading and where it is now. So here the go long strategy should still be profitable. Sorry. But if we have a look at the next one, US Tech, we can see the same pattern that we saw with US 30 already. So here the market also lost and quite a significant amount, like 5% or even more, compared to the point where I started trading this account and also the go long strategy. So at this point it should not be a surprise for anyone that the account, of course, suffered a lot, because in the meantime we made a lot of profits, especially with the go long strategy. Now markets crashed down quite quickly, and this, of course, why a lot of these profits are gone. And also is like, if you know a little bit about like market dynamics and stuff and panic reactions at the markets and stuff, it is also not really a big surprise that the losses here happen a lot quicker than the profits. That's just how the markets behave. If there's panic, people will sell, and that's the outcome. Like you see big losing days, and it might take the market a couple of at least months or maybe years to recover from this. But all of this is normal, and this is why it is so important for me to, like, on these days, do not go crazy, do not like panic. For me, the most important question that I ask myself is, with the market situation, like with the behavior of the market in the period that I trade my strategies, do my strategies work the way they should? And this is the most important question for me always, because I cannot predict the market, I cannot influence the market, and that's why I can only take this information that the market gives me, like if it's a plus or a minus in the market in the last few months, for example, and then I compare this behavior to the behavior of my strategy. And let's stay with this easy example of the go long strategy. If I see, for example, that the market made a overall loss in the period where I trade the go long strategy, I will of course not expect to see a profit with this in my account, and therefore we will not see a profit with this in I think at least the US indices. And this is why all of this is absolutely okay for me, because it's logical. I mean, it would be weird if the market drops and the go long strategy makes profit, right? So this is not a surprise. It's not like unnatural. It's completely normal, and it does not change a single thing about my overall outlook or perspective for the strategy. Because if we zoom out even more, we can see, like, okay, this is a setback. At this point, we can say maybe it is a major setback. If we have a look at US Tech here, it's a little bit more dramatic in US Tech. If we have a look at, for example, US 30, it's not even that dramatic. I think here it only lost like 10% or so, or maybe 15. But in US Tech, it's 20. Yeah, but never mind. If we have a look at this setback, and if we zoom out to get the bigger picture, and that's what I always recommend, like, do not have a look at just 1 year, have a look at the bigger picture. And then we will see that these setbacks or these like negative periods, they are completely normal. So it would be stupid if I would go completely nuts now and question my whole life, because when I made the analysis and when I decided to use this strategy, I was totally aware aware of the risk that something like this happens. And this is actually not even a really, really, really big drawdown or setback in the indices. Like we can see here, when COVID hit, it lost like 40% in US 30. So there is still a lot of downside potential. And also, if we have a look at the all-time drawdowns in the indices, there were drawdowns. I think the biggest one was like 70 or 80% even. And that's pretty much what would be a fatal event for my account. But at this point, we're nowhere near these levels. So at this point, with the go long strategy, we're fine, or I am fine. And also, like, okay, so this was the first part and maybe the most important part of my analysis. And also, let me show you some more examples. Let's like for example, so just that you get my thinking or my mindset. Like last Friday, I saw that the markets were falling apart like crazy. Everything went down. I saw the losses, but actually I was kind of happy that it happened on the Friday, because it would be way more dramatic if it would happen on Monday and Tuesday, because then I'm even more leveraged because of the turnaround Tuesday strategy. So I was happy that it happened on Friday. So Friday, I mean, markets go down, I also lose, but it's normal. On Monday, Tuesday is a different story, because then I have more leverage because of the turnaround Tuesday strategy. And we will see this also on Monday. We will have a bigger position, even a long position in the indices. And then hopefully the indices can recover a bit, because that's the idea of the turnaround Tuesday strategy. But if they go south even more, then that might actually be a problem. But at this point, if it happens on Friday, I'm totally fine. I was actually on Friday more concerned about this gold trade here, because this is something that is that was not so nice, because here was the short breakout, then it went up to just knock out the stop loss, and then it went down. So this really made a big difference in the account, because now I lost 500, and if it would have gone down, I would have made 1k or even a little bit more. So this is what really upset me on last Friday, because this is nothing I can recover like with the go long strategy if gold goes up again, because here I trade both sides. So this is actually unfortunate, but still it's just one trade out of like 100, or I don't know how many trades there were in the in gold at this point, but at least 100 I think. So it's just one trade, and if we have a look at the long-term performance of gold, it's still very, very positive. So yeah, this was the first thing that I checked in my account. Like, is everything aligned like with the overall move of the market, and is everything still how I expected it to be, like the markets and my strategies? Is there a correlation? And if the markets go down, my strategy loses. If the markets go up, my strategy wins. And that's the case, so I cannot be unhappy at this point. So next thing I checked was my my trade buddy. So I just updated all of the trades here to the current point of time. So you can see these are the 3 big losing trades here that really generated a huge drawdown in the balance graph. And of course that's not nice, but if we if we zoom out a little bit, we can still see like this is the actual performance on my 50k account. And here I actually base all of the calculations on 50k. So this is a little bit more realistic view. And if we have a look, we can still see there's a nice profit. So why should I be? Why should I panic at this point? Actually, I'm quite happy, because I just showed like most of these indices are at the level or below the level of where I started to trade this account. And still the account is in profit by a good margin. So which means that if the indices now recover at some point, and the go long strategy will definitely benefit from this, then the profit is back again. So that's my thinking at this point. And yeah, if we can see here like the maximum drawdown based on like the actual equity or balance here, it is around 25%, which is not small at this point, but it's also not like absolutely nuts. And then the next thing I did is I also, what was very interesting for me to see is how did the strategies behave. And if we have a look at, for example, the go long strategy overall in all of these three markets, we can see it's still profitable. And this is, of course, mainly because of the DE40, because this one is in profit. And if we have a look at the markets, like let's say US 30, of course this is negative, but it's not a surprise because I showed you the market went down. Of course, the strategy cannot be profitable. Then US Tech, same situation. Market went down. Of course, this market cannot be profitable with the go long strategy. That's just not how the strategy works, right? And then if we have a look at DE40, the picture looks different. And here we have a nice profit. And that's because the DE40 is profitable since I started using this strategy in this market. So that's actually important for me. Like, it's just aligned with the market situation. The go long strategy is doing exactly what the go long strategy should do. And if the markets do not change, like in its pure nature, like theoretically, if we have a look again at the long-term situation, markets tend to go up. I mean, there's no guarantee that it will be like this in the next 10 or 20 years, but theoretically, if we have a look at the last 100 years, markets should go up. And if this thesis is still correct, then the go long strategy should make profit in the long run. That's all I care about. So let's move to next strategy. Let's go with the turnaround Tuesday first. And with the turnaround Tuesday strategy and all of these markets where I traded, we're also profitable. Not a lot, but we are profitable. So at this point, 2 out of 3 strategies are profitable. So no need to panic at this point. And as I said, this can definitely change on next Monday, because then we will most likely see 3 trades in the turnaround Tuesday strategy in US Tech, US 30, and D40. And this will, of course, have a big impact with the current volatility on the account, but it can be either positive or negative. So there's no need to predict anything. I would just stick to the strategies because that's all I can do at this point. But yeah, at this point, no panicking needed. Everything's fine. Also, turnaround Tuesday strategy is profitable. And now let's go to the range breakout, because the range breakout strategy is actually the only strategy that is not really correlated to the indices. So this can benefit from long and short positions, and it's just looking perfect. So what can I say? It generated 14,000 euro of profit in the last around 1 year. And this is, of course, mainly coming from gold. Like, if we have a look at this, gold generated pretty much all of the profits. And that's why I also said, like, of course, it sucks that this gold trade was a loss here on last Friday. It's okay, but it's okay. Because if we have a look at the long-term performance of gold, it's just looking beautiful. And why do I care about one trade if it looks like this in the long run? But let's have a look at the other markets also, like GBP US dollar. Yeah, it is losing with the range breakout strategy. Euro US dollar had a very good trade last week. So it's also profitable now. USD Japanese yen, I think, is also profitable at this point. It is. Then we have DE40 with the range breakout EA slightly negative. And the last one is US 30, is also slightly negative. But yeah, you can see all of the strategies in this account. Even though there was a very bad week last week, and of course, like, if you would have asked me at the beginning of last week if I want this, I would have said no, of course not, because I don't want to lose the money. But at this point, if I do the analysis of the last week, I can summarize that with the negative performance of the indices, it actually went quite well. So it could have been way worse. And last week there were profits with a range breakout EAA, with the turnaround Tuesday strategy on Monday and Tuesday. And of course, the go long strategy generated a huge loss. But it's just what it does, right? And yeah, again, if we have a look at this, the account is still 16,000 euro in profit. And this is what we should never forget. Since I started trading this and it's completely automated, I don't do anything. And it's just planned profit that I get out of these strategies, which is for me such a great thing to see. And yeah, also next week, as I said, I deposited another 10,000 euro just to be safe that I do not get a margin call or anything. And if Monday and or Tuesday or whatever the next days will be negative as we saw it last Friday, I will deposit more money to be sure that I do not get a margin call. And yeah, that's pretty much the update. So let me know in the comments if this was a helpful video for you, if it helped you to understand my perspective on this. And please also let me know how your trading is going, if you see a strong impact of these markets on your trading strategies. I know that for different trading strategies, this can have a very different impact. For a lot of traders, this was probably very, very positive, because I know that many traders, of course, also short the indices, and then you must have made a lot of money. So I hope this was the case for you. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. I'm out, and have a nice weekend, I guess. Bye.